On August 1, 1969, three newspaper editors in San Francisco opened their mail and found something that shouldn't have been possible. A letter describing a murder in exact detail, a murder the public didn't even know had happened yet. The man who wrote it wasn't hiding. He wanted to be found. He included a secret code and dared the police to solve it before he killed again. That code took investigators 51 years to crack. The man who wrote it was never identified. Not then. Not now. Who was the Zodiac? Every unsolved case has a beginning most people forget. This one starts on a dark stretch of road called Lake Herman Road, just outside Vallejo, California, December 20th, 1968. David Faraday was 17. Betty Lou Jensen was 16. It was their first date, alone, together. They parked on that road, the way countless teenagers in Vallejo had before them. A car pulled up behind them. Betty Lou's body was found lying in the roadway. David was still alive when he was found barely with a single gunshot wound to the head. He didn't survive the trip to the hospital. There was no robbery, no argument. Just two teenagers, gone, for no reason anyone could find. Police had nothing. No suspect, no weapon, no witness. For 7 months, the case simply sat there. Cold then, on the night of July 4th, 1969, it happened again, and this time, the killer wanted credit. Darlene Ferrin, 22, and Mike Mageau, 19, were parked at Blue Rock Springs Park, just a few miles from Lake Herman Road. A car pulled alongside them, then drove away. Then, and this detail still unsettles investigators, 50 years later it came back. A man approached their window with a flashlight and opened fire without a word. Darlene died at the hospital. Mike survived and gave police the first real physical description anyone would ever get of the killer. 45 minutes later, the Vallejo Police Department's phone rang. A man's voice, flat and calm, told the officer exactly where to find the bodies. Then, he said 4 words that changed the entire case. "I also killed those kids last year." He hung up before they could trace the call. No killer had ever done this before, called the police himself, unprompted, just to make sure they knew it was him. He wasn't confessing out of guilt. He was signing his work. A month later, he'd give himself a name. On August 1st, 1969, 3 Bay Area newspapers each received an identical letter. Details inside matched the murders, exactly details that had never been released publicly. There was no doubt. This was real. Each letter ended with a symbol the world had never seen before. A circle with a cross through it. No one has ever definitively explained why he chose it, and each letter contained something else. A cipher. A block of nonsense symbols. He demanded all 3 papers publish it on their front page, or he'd kill a dozen people that weekend. In his own words, the papers printed it. Within a week, it wasn't the FBI or a trained cryptographer who broke it. It was a high school teacher and his wife in Salinas, California, working it out by hand at their kitchen table. The message inside read, in part, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. I will be reborn in paradise, and all the people I have killed will become my slaves." He signed it. The Zodiac. This was no longer a string of shootings. This was a man performing for an audience, and the audience was an entire state, watching in real time, with no idea what he would do next. September 27th, 1969, Lake Berryessa, 30 miles from Vallejo. Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, both college students, were having a picnic by the water when a man approached, not hiding, not rushing. He was wearing a black hood, like an executioner, with the same circle and cross symbols stitched onto the chest. He told them he'd escaped from a Montana prison and needed their car and money. He asked them to lie down. Then he tied them with rope he had brought with him pre-cut, prepared in advance. Then he stabbed them both, again and again, and walked away without taking anything at all. No car. No money. Brian survived, badly wounded. Cecilia died 2 days later. Before leaving, the killer walked to their car and wrote in black marker, directly on the door, the dates and locations of his earlier attacks, along with his symbol. He wasn't hiding what he'd done. He was building a Ursum. 2 weeks later, a San Francisco cab driver named Paul Stein picked up a fare on a quiet street. He was shot once, at close range. The killer tore a piece of his blood-stained shirt from his body, a trophy, mailed later to prove it was him. That was October 11th, 1969. It is the last murder anyone has ever officially connected to the Zodiac. For the next 5 years, letters kept arriving, 20 in total, taunting the police, mocking the investigation, daring anyone to catch him. 3 more ciphers came with them. 2 remained completely unsolved for over 50 years. Then, in December 2020, 3 amateur codebreakers from 3 different countries who had never met in person finally cracked one of them using nothing but persistence and shared research online. 51 years buried in a newspaper archive. The message read, in part, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner." One cipher remains unsolved to this day. It is sitting somewhere, right now, waiting for someone to see what 50 years of investigators have missed. And in his final letter, mailed in 1974, the Zodiac made a claim that still unsettles investigators more than anything else in this case. He said he had killed 37 people. Police have only ever confirmed 5 deaths. If even part of that claim is true, it means there are victims out there in cold case files across California who were never connected to this man at all. Families who never got an answer, because no one ever thought to ask the right question. More than 2,500 suspects have been investigated over the decades. Arthur Lee Allen, a Vallejo schoolteacher, was the only one ever named publicly by police, followed, searched, and questioned for over 20 years before he died in 1992, never charged. In 2021, a separate group claimed they'd identified a house painter named Gary Francis Post based on witness statements and circumstantial evidence. Investigators have never been able to confirm it either. Every few years, someone says they've finally solved it. Every few years, the case goes quiet again. DNA evidence still exists in an evidence locker in California. Right now, tonight, an unsolved cipher still sits, waiting to be broken by someone the way 3 strangers online did in 2020. And somewhere, there may be a person who worked alongside this man, sat next to him at a diner, waved to him at a gas station with absolutely no idea what he did in the dark. The Zodiac promised, in his very first letter, that his identity would eventually come out. 50+ years later, he still hasn't kept that promise. Comment the stories you want to know next, and we'll make that the next video in this series.